Patrick Mahomes excelled while holding the ball against the Commanders. In fact, when he had 4 or more seconds to throw, he was 8 of 9 for 149 yards and 3 touchdowns. Let's take a look at all 8 of those completions where he held the ball for more than 4 seconds, and let's look at the different ways in which Mahomes made magic happen when he was permitted to hold the ball. We're going to start in the second quarter. There's 8:29 to go in the quarter, and the Chiefs have a 1st and 10 at their own 47-yard line. It's a 0-0 game at this point. We've got Patrick Mahomes in the shotgun. He's got a tight end left and then 3 to his right. Takes the snap and rolls left, throws it deep down the right side to hit an open Travis Kelce, who gets out of bounds just outside the red zone. So let's take a look at what happened here on this play. The Chiefs are in 12 personnel here. That means they have 1 running back. In this case, it's Ajay Pacheco, and they have 2 tight ends. This looks like, is that Noah Gray there? That is Noah Gray. And then this is Travis Kelce. And then their wide receivers are Hollywood Brown, and Tyquan Thornton is far out wide. The Commanders are going to run a cover 3 shell. Like, it's definitely a middle field close. You see you have 1 safety in the middle of the field taking away the post route, and it looks like these 2 corners each have deep third responsibilities. So you've got cover 3 with 3 defenders deep, and then you're going to have 4 underneath zone defenders. So what the Chiefs do is they actually roll this pocket left. So there's a play action to Pacheco going this way. Patrick Mahomes is going to roll left, and Creed Humphrey is going to peel off and come move with him to be protection. So here they roll the pocket left, and then the design against this cover 3 is essentially a creative flood concept. So Tyquan Thornton's running the clear out route. He's going deep. Well, I should explain what a flood concept is. So a flood concept in this case, it means that when you know people are in a fairly static zone coverage, especially they're not really matching patterns, then one way to beat the zone is to overload an area of the zone with a lot of routes, because there aren't that many defenders that are in that area. So if you can get a lot of receivers in an area, few defenders, you can get people open. So a flood concept usually tries to take multiple receivers to one side of the field at different depths. So you'll usually have somebody deep, somebody more intermediate, and somebody in the flat. So in this case, Tyquan Thornton on the right side is running the deep route. He's running a clear out. And Ajay Pacheco is running out to the flat. And the intermediate route is a little bit more creative here. It's going to come from Travis Kelce. And so what they have Kelce do is, instead of just kind of like running an out route, he actually comes and he runs more corner pattern while initially driving toward the inside. So he comes up toward the inside and then brings it back out like this. And so you end up with Thornton deep, Kelce intermediate, and Pacheco shallow. Hollywood Brown runs a deep over, which is important because they have to occupy this safety. So ultimately you're trying to create a void in the zone, and if it works perfectly when you have Thornton come up, watch the corner, run with Thornton. There he goes. So that's the deep guy gone. Now you have Pacheco come out, and so that means the flat guy has to at least respect this. He can't get too much depth. He has to be present in case this pass is dumped off to Pacheco. You just can't give him free yards. And so between the corner who's running deep with Thornton and the underneath defender who has to at least respect the flat, then Kelce is able to run into a void. And Brown's route is important because the deep safety gets occupied. Otherwise, what could happen theoretically is if the deep safety doesn't have any responsibility, he can key on Kelce's route and come over here, trusting that the corner is going to stay. So as you watch this progress here, you see the void that's created, and so does Mahomes. The respect for Pacheco is at least holding this underneath guy at the first down marker, so Kelce gets enough room here that he can come over, and Mahomes can layer this ball right over the defender to Kelsey. There's enough room there that he makes that throw, and they get a big gain here, 31 yards. Now you see it from the end zone view. See how they roll the pocket left. This is a good way to combat pass rush here, right? You move the pocket, create a little bit of eye candy, and it also, when you have defenders in zone, it occupies them a little bit, so it might delay their recognition of the pass concepts just a little bit. And you see what we're talking about with Kelsey here in the flood. He's not just running it out. Watch him drive this toward the middle of the field first and then break it out there. And Mahomes waiting for it, and then look at him layer this ball perfectly over the linebacker right to Kelsey. Big gain for a first down. We now jump to 12:48 to go in the third quarter. We've got a 7-7 game, and the Chiefs have a 1st and 10 at the Washington 47-yard line. Mahomes is in the shotgun. He's got 3 to his right, 1 to his left. Takes the snap. This time they roll the pocket right. Looking deep, doesn't see anything he likes. Looks left, goes back right, and dumps it off to Travis Kelce with a bunch of green grass in front of him. Kelce rumbles all the way down to the 9-yard line to set up 1st and goal. So, what happened on this one? The Chiefs are here in 11 personnel. 1 running back, that's Isaiah Pacheco, right here. And then 1 tight end is Travis Kelce. And they're 3 wide receivers. They've got Hollywood Brown down here, Xavier Worthy up here, and then Juju Smith-Schuster in the middle of the bunch here. So this time, we saw a play where they were rolling the pocket left. This time they're going to roll the pocket right. And they're going to pull Kingsley Suamataia to be the kind of lead guy for Mahomes here. So fake the handoff to Pacheco left, roll the pocket to the right. And both Travis Kelce and Juju Smith-Schuster are initially going to stay in to block, leaving the initial release of only 2 wide receivers and then Pacheco in the flat. And so the wide receivers, Xavier Worthy is just running a post. And Hollywood Brown is coming in, and then he's going to run kind of I guess you'd call it kind of a corner pattern. I don't know, there's probably a nice receiver term or route running term that I don't know. But he's basically bringing this in and then going out toward the corner. Almost really kind of bringing it around like in the shape of a wheel route there. You see Brown there coming around. So the Commanders are playing cover 1 man. So they've got the 1 deep safety. And then underneath, they're manned up here. So we've got manned up on Hollywood Brown, manned up on Xavier Worthy. We have 1 responsible for Pacheco, 1 responsible for Juju, and 1 responsible for Travis Kelce. And you see them kind of expand out here. And I should say, because there should be a 5th guy. The 5th guy there, the extra guy we're talking about, is blitzing. Because usually if you've got everybody manned up, then you should have room for 1 safety and then 1 person in the middle of the field. Instead of having a middle of the field person, they have 5 rushing. So when you have 5 rushing and 1 deep safety, everybody else has to account for somebody in man coverage. So, like we said, the Chiefs run Worthy on the post, and that takes this defender and the safety. It occupies both of them. Hollywood actually runs his route pretty well. If you see, as we get to this point, he wins his route right there. So if Mahomes is reading him at this point, this is a throw that could be made down the field to Hollywood Brown. But Mahomes still seems to be looking deep down the field to Worthy, and then it seems like his next guy that he comes down to is Juju. So what happens here is Juju and Kelce initially block, and then Juju releases and tries to come across the field as like the late leaker. But Bobby Wagner is ready for it. Wagner's there. He runs with Juju, and so Juju doesn't, there's a throw possible here, but it's not like he's wide open. But then Travis Kelce leaks out even later here into the flat. And the other man defender has seen Juju leak out, and he kind of comes over to help out over here. He essentially takes like a robber role because he doesn't see anybody to guard. When they started, it looks like he might have been the guy initially responsible for Juju, and Wagner for Kelsey. But when they see the both of them stay in the block, then Wagner notices Juju releasing. It looks like, see here, Wagner is widening with Kelsey and kind of keeping eyes on him. But he sees Juju releasing, so he picks him up. Well, so does this defender. He sees Juju releasing, and I guess they're not expecting an even later potential release from Kelsey, so they leave him, and Juju's route carries them both to the middle of the field, meaning that there is nobody over here. And so when Kelsey makes the catch, he's just got green grass to go down the field before he's tackled just inside the 10. So Mahomes really looks like he looks deep and then comes over to Juju. At this point, he might give a glance over to Hollywood, but by this point, the defender's kind of closing on that. Really, this would be kind of a timing where for Hollywood, you'd throw it like here and let him go run under it. But he notices Kelsey out in the flat, gets him the ball, and this is a big gain. We can see it now from the end zone. Here is the kind of boot action. Kingsley comes over to help out. And this actually was somewhat good timing because, so they have the blitzer in here. And then if you notice, the other lineman on this side also kind of crashes in, and they were running a stunt with this interior guy to bring him around. But unfortunately for them, the looper is dealing with both Kelsey and Juju being in the block, so it kind of nullifies the stunt there. Then Kingsley comes over to this side as well, so it was kind of a right play at the right time for the Chiefs as far as the Commanders are running a stunt, but the Chiefs have added blocking on that side, so it doesn't really matter that they have a guy looping around. Mahomes, as you can see, was looking deep, and here he looks over toward Juju. Juju's covered by Wagner, comes over to the right. There's Kelsey. Kelsey just rumbles down the field and gets a nice deep completion. We're now later in the same drive. Still a 7-7 ball game. Now we're at 10:19 to go in the third quarter, and the Chiefs have a 4th and goal at the Commanders' 2-yard line. Patrick Mahomes is in the shotgun. He's got 2 to his left, 2 to his right, and Kareem Hunt in the backfield with him. They motion Hollywood Brown from right to left. Mahomes takes the snap. He escapes to the B gap on the right and flips a touchdown pass to Kareem Hunt. So what happened on this play? So you see here we've got 11 personnel again. One running back is Kareem Hunt. The tight end is Travis Kelce. The wide receivers are Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, and Hollywood Brown. So they motion Hollywood Brown over to the right, to the left. And they've got Worthy basically running to the corner. Brown is running the flat. And Rashee Rice ends up running kind of a post route, getting back underneath the goalpost. And the Commanders are essentially kind of pattern matching here. So they're trying to account for every route, and then they really have like 2 that are kind of in, zone defenders trying to help pick up and pass off routes. So it's not so much like a strict man, but once you kind of get latched to a guy in your zone, you kind of stick to that person until you're able to successfully pass them off to another is kind of a simple way to understand these match principles. In the red zone, things get really tight, and in order to make sure that you're, sticking with everybody, teams have gotten very creative with this ability to essentially play man coverage, but have the flexibility to pass people off if some man-beating concepts are used, like they were in this situation. So here, it kind of seems like a completely ad-lib play, right? Mahomes drops back. He's got the B gap wide open. The B gap, if you remember, is the gap between the guard and the tackle. We call the gap between the center and the guard the A gap, and the gap between the guard and the tackle is the B gap. He's got a wide open B gap. We know what Mahomes likes to do. He likes to press defenders with his legs. He's going to challenge for the pylon. And so somebody has to come and drop in and prevent him from scrambling. And that provides more openings. And the way that the opening was created here, and the reason why I say this wasn't a purely ad-lib play, is if you watch Kelsey is going to chip here for Jawan Taylor, and then he's going to come over, and he's clearly running a pick route. So by design, he's trying to come here, and he's trying to get in the way of the defender that's with Kareem Hunt. So this part of the action seems to have been premeditated, that Kelsey's going to come over, Kareem Hunt is going to try to get open, and Mahomes in that time is going to try to run over with Kareem Hunt to help, it's basically like one other thing that could prevent Kareem Hunt's defender from staying with him. One is Travis Kelce hopefully getting in the way. The other is the threat of Mahomes' legs, especially as, he's got routes on this side of the field that are going to be holding more defenders. So, and with Kelce coming this way, that will also help bring defense toward the middle of the field. So as defense comes toward the middle of the field, as you see, there's a lot of green grass over here. So challenging over here is a good idea. And as Mahomes challenges here, you see Wagner kind of gets affected by the pick. And I think what the anticipation, because if you notice, both the guy who's with Kelce and Wagner let Kareem Hunt go. And you see Hunt is very smart about getting some depth here. I think what they are thinking is, we have a second level defender. They're kind of passing this off. We don't have to run back into the end zone with him. There is a guy in the end zone. The problem is that the guy in the end zone is the guy that is chasing Mahomes. So that's the real advantage of, the quarterback being able to press with his legs and stretch a defense. If Mahomes stays in the pocket for this, you have another defender right here that's ready to pick up Kareem Hunt as he slides through here. And, Wagner and this underneath defender kind of pass him off. But since Mahomes chose to scramble, that eliminates this defender from the picture. There is no second level defender here now as Kareem Hunt scoots into the end zone, and it's an easy throw and catch for the touchdown. And we see it from the end zone view as Mahomes dropping back. He starts over toward the left side. As he comes right, he's got that B gap open, and you see that the timing of this play is so important. There's no point for Mahomes even, working the right side of the field yet. Kelsey's going to chip. Kareem Hunt is supposed to come all the way across to get the pick. So Mahomes starts on this side. Let's see if anybody wins over there. And then after completing his drop, okay, now this side of the play is going to start working. You see Kelce there getting in position to be ready for the pick. Mahomes challenging is what moves this defender, which is crucial for Kareem Hunt to have that open space. As Mahomes runs, then Hunt does a good job here getting depth in the end zone. Underneath defenders don't run with him. Deeper defenders already run with Mahomes. Easy touchdown, and the Chiefs take the lead. We go to 7:24 to go in the third quarter. The Chiefs are up 14-7, and they have a 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line. Mahomes is in the shotgun. He's got 2 to his left, 2 to his right, and Rashee Rice is with him in the backfield. Rice motions out toward the left. Mahomes drops back. Pocket collapses a little. He steps up and throws to Juju Smith-Schuster over the middle for a completion of 24 yards. So let's take a look at what happened on this one. The Chiefs are in 11 personnel. Their running back is split out wide here. That's Isaiah Pacheco, and their tight end is Travis Kelce. The wide receivers are Xavier Worthy on the boundary, Juju Smith-Schuster in the slot. Rashee Rice started in the backfield and then motioned out at the snap. You can see the Commanders are playing a single high. This looks like it's cover 3 principle. So essentially you've got 3 guys who have more deep responsibility and then 4 underneath. And what the Chiefs are going to do against this is they're going to have that's Xavier Worthy run like a curl route. They're going to have a clear out from Isaiah Pacheco with Rashee Rice coming out to the flat underneath the clear out. Travis Kelce is going to run a curl route here, and then they're going to bring Juju Smith-Schuster as a more intermediate level underneath. And so you see the routes develop. Here you get a lot of attention on Kelce underneath. Immediately the linebacker comes with him. And the same thing happens when Worthy curls on the boundary. You see that even this defender here is starting to get a little width, anticipating Worthy coming. And as Juju gets to the second level, he gets released a little bit by the underneath defenders. And one major advantage that the Chiefs have this year that they haven't in the past is that teams, well, I should say they haven't at least in the past 2 years, is that teams are now a little more wary about their threat down the field. And look at how far off the single high safety is playing. And that just gives so much room between the underneath and deep for Juju Smith-Schuster, who's already a master at settling in zones, just to find the open area and wait and be present for his quarterback. And so Mahomes here is moved off his spot faster than he wants to. He steps back, and as you can see, the interior struggles a little bit on this one. It's mainly Kingsley here getting beat a little to the inside, and then Jalen Moore is getting walked back. Honestly, as is Juwan Taylor a little bit. So he doesn't have a lot of room, but he steps through. And as he steps through, he sees a friendly face that has settled in the zone. Juju's right there presenting a target. And again, the safety is so deep. Even though there's no deep threat, I mean, it's not like you're really worried about Pacheco beating you. Worthy's all the way on the other side of the field. But Juju's right there, makes the catch, and as he has done all season, makes the most of his after-the-catch ability here. So you can see the line on this one. This wasn't the line's greatest day, or greatest play of the day, I should say. You can see Kingsley's giving up ground, Jalen Moore giving up ground, and Juwan Taylor. So you feel the pocket collapsing a little bit, and Mahomes does a good job of navigating through and getting a quick throw off to Juju. You can see his feet right here as he settles into the zone. Juju does such a great job of identifying those open areas. Mahomes gets it to him, and the Chiefs get another big play. So we'll jump ahead to later on the same drive. 3:26 to go in the third quarter. Still a 14-7 Chiefs lead. Chiefs have a 2nd and 6 on the Commanders' 10-yard line. Mahomes is in the shotgun. He's got 3 to his left. Kelce isolated to the right. They move Worthy in motion. Mahomes drops back. He escapes to his right and throws a touchdown pass to Travis Kelce to get a 21-7 lead. So let's take a look at what happened on this play. So the Chiefs motion Worthy over. This is 11 personnel. That's 1 running back, Isaiah Pacheco, 1 tight end, Travis Kelce. And the wide receivers are Xavier Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Rashee Rice. So they motion Worthy in here. They send Rice out to the corner. Juju's going to run an out route, and Worthy is going to release just inside and run a shallower out. And the idea here is that Juju's out is supposed to serve as a pick route for Worthy to be able to run the shallow route underneath, get the defender off of him. However, the defender does a good job of staying outside here, because the ideal would be Juju getting to the outside of the defender, and right as he makes this move right there would be the time that Worthy would break out, and that would give him the natural pick. However, the defender stays outside, so Juju actually has to kind of veer off course and isn't able to impede the defender from staying on top of Worthy. I mean, Worthy's still open here. This throw could have been made, but this is not what was intended from the play, and I think that's why Mahomes kind of turns it down. We can actually take a look at this being run correctly. This is back from week 3 of 2024 against the Falcons. Now, on this play, we have the same concept. The receivers are just switched. So Juju is in the slot again, but this time Worthy is out wide, and Rice is the one that motions in behind Juju. And see, as you notice this time, when Rice motions, Rice's defender comes inside as well. And so as Juju comes up, he's able to get outside of Rice's defender. And part of that is because Rice does a good job of kind of selling this like he's coming up inside of Juju. He's not telegraphing the out route. So his defender comes in, and right as Juju gets to the outside right there, Rice makes his break. And so as he turns out, the timing is perfect. Mahomes makes that throw. Rice is able to get outside leverage on the defender, so he'll be able to beat him to the pylon. And that's exactly what he does to get a touchdown against the Falcons. It's a little hard to see entirely through the end zone view, but you can see the moment here that Rice makes his break, and you can see how it times with, on this side, with Juju being just outside the defender, and the leverage is the important part. Look at the width that Rice has on the defender. So that allows, when he makes the catch, him to beat the defender to the pylon, which is exactly what he does. But getting back to this year. So in this case, they weren't able to convince that defender to get inside. The defender stayed outside. So Juju was not able to get him the leverage. As you see here, the defender stays on top. So if this pass is completed, I mean, there's still a way that Worthy could score, but it's not executed to perfection, even though Worthy is open. And possibly for that reason, Mahomes turns this down, and he scrambles over to the right. Well, on the right side here, first of all, awesome chip here by Pacheco. We have to give him some credit here. Look at him go after the end and just flatten him right there. I mean, that's a great chip block. And Pacheco goes out to the flat. Kelsey comes to settle at the goal line. And if you notice, the Commanders are just straight up bracketing him. Right off the snap, they've got two guys with eyes on him. They're ready. They're not going to let Kelsey beat him. But as Mahomes rolls to the right, one of these defenders now gets committed to trying to prevent the scramble. So that leaves Kelsey one-on-one. He notices that there's more room toward the middle of the field and turns back. Mahomes sees what he's doing, gets the ball to him. Honestly, probably could have put this a little bit more toward the middle of the field since no one was there, but he still put it on Kelsey. Kelsey made the catch, and there's your touchdown. From the end zone view, Mahomes looking for that on the left, didn't like how that pick play went, rolled over to the right, and you see right as he gets going, look what it does to defenders. Like, he just gets people moving off their spots, not looking at people they're guarding, gets it to Kelsey for the touchdown. Ahead to 12:29 to go in the fourth quarter. The Chiefs are up 21-7, and they have a 2nd and 17 from their own 19-yard line. Mahomes is in the shotgun, 3 to his left, 1 to his right. He takes the snap, rolls to his left, approaches the line of scrimmage, and throws a pass to Rashee Rice down the field for a gain of about 25 yards. They would lose 15 of those yards because this is the play right after which Rice was trying to throw the ball to the official over the head of a defender, and it hit the defender in the head. He got a taunting penalty and lost 15 yards. But anyway, let's take a look at what happened on this play. So the Chiefs are in 11 personnel. Their running back is Isaiah Pacheco. Tight end is Noah Gray. 1 running back, 1 tight end. That's 11 personnel. They've got Hollywood Brown out left, Rashee Rice in the slot, and Xavier Worthy on the right side. Now let's start with the Commanders because they're running a really cool coverage here. So this is cover 2, but look at how they get there. So, cover 2 is you got 2 deep safeties, and that gives you 5 underneath defenders, and you can still have 4 rushing the passer, right? So watch how the Commanders get here, because look, pre-snap, this looks like cover 1 man, right? You see guys over the top of our receivers. We have 1 deep safety, guy here, guy for the running back. So everything pre-snap is giving you the indication of cover 1 man. But look at what the Commanders actually do. They bail these two guys immediately at the snap. These are actually your deep safeties. He comes down to play it underneath. He will come out to play it underneath, and then he will also come out, and they'll send these four. So again, deep safety, underneath defender, underneath defender, underneath defender, underneath defender, underneath defender. Watch it in action. So there you see the two bailing. There is your cover two. He's coming up to the middle. He's dropping back from the line of scrimmage. Very different from the pre-snap look. So a very confusing change here if you're trying to read the coverage from pre to post-snap. They get into their cover two, and at the same time, Jalen Moore allows his guy inside. So Mahomes makes the natural change of moving out, rolling out to his left. What the Chiefs are doing route-wise, they're essentially sending Hollywood Brown an outside release up the sideline, and same thing down here. Worthy outside release up the sideline. Rashee Rice is coming and trying to sit in his zone, and Noah Gray is trying to find room in the middle of the field. He comes across and tries to sit in his zone over here. So here they go. Mahomes rolls to his left, and if he had been able to stay in the pocket, he might have had a quick opportunity right here as Hollywood Brown gets past the underneath defender and the safety is turned in. So you might have had a whole shot right down the sideline. Right at that moment. But at this point, Mahomes is running over to his left, and he's actually not looking at Brown. He switches from Rice then over to Gray as he's coming over this way. So he doesn't see Brown. Now you can see he's looking over in Gray's direction. But he uses his, and then at this point, right, once the safety has turned his hips, like, you can't make this throw anymore. The safety is just going to go get it, essentially. But in any case, the Mahomes does what he does so well. He goes to challenge the line of scrimmage to give the ability to throw, and it moves defenders. So you see here, this defender has his eye on Mahomes as a risk to scramble. It allows Rice to sneak behind him into a void. Mahomes reads it the same way Rice does, gets the ball in there for a 25-yard gain. Now we see it from the end zone view, and you can see this is one of our cover two defenders. So he's immediately bailing at the snap. The deep safety is coming in. And as you see, Wagner will rush. He comes out to be one of the underneath guys. And this defensive lineman also comes out, and Wagner replaces him. So it ends up being a simulated pressure. You see him coming back and being an underneath defender here. And here, Jalen Moore loses to the inside. So Mahomes then comes back outside, manipulates the defense with his legs, and Rice settles into a void in the zone for a big gain. So we get to later on the same drive. There's now 10:36 to go in the game. Chiefs are up 21-7, and they have a 2nd and 6 at about their 45-yard line. Mahomes is in the shotgun with 2 to his left, 2 to his right. Takes the snap. He's pressured, so he has to escape the pocket running left. Backpedals, throws a pass over the middle to Noah Gray for a 15-yard gain. Now, this is a pretty cool play. The Chiefs are in 12 personnel. That's 1 running back, Isaiah Pacheco, and 2 tight ends, Noah Gray and Travis Kelce. They have 2 wide receivers, Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. And the Commanders, as you can see here, they're playing cover 1 man. So they've got 1 deep safety, and then they've got man accounting for each person. So these 2 are responsible for, well, I should have put him on Kelce and him on Pacheco. He's got Gray. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rushing the passer. And so what the Chiefs do against this coverage, they have Rashee Rice coming and sitting, and Worthy's running a deep over. Kelce's actually staying in the block, and Noah Gray is going to release. And he initially tries to work on his defender, but if you notice, Gray actually, his defender contacts him kind of here at the stem of the route. And Gray manages to out-physical him here and actually shed him. And then at this point, he sees Mahomes scrambling, so it's going to be hard to tell what his route actually was. The defender tried to contact him and just lost that battle. And then Gray came out and released. So I'm not sure what his route was, but then Pacheco released out into the flat. So what really happens on this play is, unfortunately, Kingsley Suamataia loses really fast. He loses to the outside, and that creates immediate pressure on Mahomes, who then has to bail. He steps up in the pocket. At the point he's stepping up, Caliendo also loses. So he has to stay away from Caliendo's guy. He does a nice jump here to avoid the dive. And then as he's trying to contort his body, he sees Noah Gray coming across the middle, knows he's going to have to turn to get this throw off, so he turns into a back pedal, throws it over to Gray. I mean, this is really incredible. We got to see this from the end zone view. So again, you see here, Kingsley gets his arm swatted, beat to the outside very fast here. Mahomes does a good job stepping up, and then you see Caliendo losing right there. Mahomes does well to avoid this dive with the little hurdle. Then knowing that he's going to have to get himself in position to throw, he does a good job just coming around, backpedaling, and look at this throw. I mean, come on. Like, I really feel bad for the people that aren't able to appreciate Mahomes. They feel so interested in disliking him or discrediting him that they can't just look at a play like that. I mean, this is so cool. Backpedaling, nonchalantly throws it. Big first down. And now to cap the drive off, we go to 7:59 to go in the fourth quarter. Chiefs are up 21-7, and they have a 2nd and 8 at about the Commanders' 18-yard line. Mahomes is in the shotgun. He's got 3 to his right, 1 to his left. They then motion Kelsey from right to left. Mahomes takes the snap, climbs the pocket, steps up and throws a quick pass to Rashee Rice, who takes it all the way to the end zone for a touchdown. This is a pretty cool little play, starting with the fact that the Chiefs are actually in 13 personnel here. Not a formation you see them run shotgun from very much, but you've got 1 running back, Isaiah Pacheco, and 3 tight ends, Noah Gray, Travis Kelce, and Robert Tonyan. The lone wide receiver here is Rashee Rice. So as they motion Kelce over to the left, you can see the Commanders adjusting. Looks like they have a single high here. There's a middle of the field closed concept. And the Chiefs are going to run this following route combination. So Kelce is going to go outside running out and up, and Noah Gray is going to run a post, which is going to help occupy that safety in the middle of the field. Robert Tonyan is going to run a corner, and the nice thing about the corner is it kind of helps clear out this interior defender. And then Isaiah Pacheco is going to run to the flat, which helps occupy the corner here. So with Tonyan occupying this defender and really kind of running a pick a little bit for Rashee Rice, who's coming underneath, and Pacheco occupying the corner, Noah Gray taking to the post, which occupies this defender, and then Kelce pulling a defender wide. What they're trying to do is isolate Rashee Rice on Bobby Wagner here. And that's exactly what they succeed in doing. As you see Tonyan drive this defender up right here, and you've got Wagner one-on-one with Rashee Rice in space. And what Rice does, and I think they pointed this out on the broadcast, he initially shows his hands. Mahomes, once he climbs the pocket, and Rice pauses enough that Wagner starts cheating over, and then Rice makes his move. And then at that point, when he's got a step on Wagner, there's no chance. As Mahomes tries to navigate pressure, he finds an opening to get it to Rice. And that's all she wrote. And look at the burst, someone like Rice. Once he gets going across the middle of the field, he's just deadly. He's able to carry that right into the end zone for the touchdown. You can see Mahomes had a bit to navigate too as he's climbing the pocket. He's actually initially looks like he's looking for Kelsey. He kind of pumps over to see if he wants to throw that out and up to Kelsey, then instead comes down to the play to Rice over the middle. But look at how nicely the Chiefs managed to use their routes to occupy everybody else. Tunyon being a key one here, pushing up. And essentially make sure that Rice is isolated here on Bobby Wagner, who just has no chance. That's something we see, if you remember week 1 against the Ravens last year, the Chiefs were getting Rice isolated on Roquan Smith a lot. And again, it's just a tough ask. It's a really tough ask for the defense. Here we see it again. We were talking about how Mahomes initially dropped back. Looks like he was looking for Kelsey. Then he saw the defensive tackle moved aside, and there it is, right to Rice. No chance of stopping him there. That's a big touchdown. So you see Mahomes, when he held the ball, he either did because he had pockets or because he was navigating muddy pockets, but he was so effective when holding the ball. Some were more ad-lib plays, some were letting plays develop, but he was seeing the field great and doing a great job of navigating pressure, which was a big key in the Chiefs' offensive success in this game.